And so on the topic of religion and unidentified aerial phenomena, flying objects, this sort of thing, are there examples of religious people who are tying these unknown objects into their religion, into their teachings? Is it a tradition passed down? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I think the question of UFOs and religion, or the relationship between UFOs and religion, is a complicated one. And I think there are several things going on. As you implied in your question, there are already traditions that are passed down that revolve around UFOs. You're aware of some. Maybe you've heard of the Raelians. You remember Heaven's Gate from San Diego and the tragedy around that. These were traditions that were already built around the idea of UFOs. UFOs were of ultimate importance in terms of human destiny, or at least the destiny of those particular folks in these traditions. On the other hand, there are people who report encounters with UFOs and who have clearly what could be considered a religious experience, that it totally changes their sense of the nature of reality, that somehow the world has to be much more than cause and effect and material, that something more is going on in this world, perhaps even something non-material, if not something extraterrestrial. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I think the whole idea of UFOs or UAPs is really complicated. I think responses to it range from religious responses, where you have these traditions that grow up around somebody's or a group of people's experience of UFOs. I think there are some people who argue that these are material phenomena that are probably extraterrestrial, and so there's nothing about that for them is extraordinary. We just live in an enormously complicated world that we don't know a whole lot about, and that even those things can fit into science. I would argue that even that is a religious response, as it expands even how we understand our universe and our place in it. Then, right, we become not just the center of it, because there's so much more going on out here than what we're aware. But again, UFOs to me elicit all kinds of responses that are religious in nature, from understanding who we are differently, to understanding the nature of the world differently. And there are a lot of traditions that grow up around that. There are traditions and currents that are in existence that get passed down, where UFOs are at the center of it. And of course, then there are some that claim to be scientific and non-religious, that just claim to be explorations of the nature of our world. And again, I'm even a part of a research group that does that. I don't know if you remember, in 2017, an object entered our solar system called Oumuamua, that some scholars like Abraham Abi-Leib at Harvard University argued was likely extraterrestrial, some remnant of extraterrestrial technology or something related to that, and actually published a journal article arguing this in a really elite astronomy and astrophysics journal. I think it was called Astrophysical Journal Letters, or Letters Journal, something like that. Mm-hmm. And so there are even scientists who are really taking this very, very seriously. And I just think it's a fantastic time for people who are open, both to scholarly and religious engagements. Those two aren't always separate for me. Even the religious and scientific aren't. And I think when we talk about UFOs, we have to talk about religious responses to them, because I think religious responses are the primary experience and responses to UAPs and UFOs.